Technology sometimes is not easy to handle.
Yes, I just had a meeting where I guided the meditation and did some team building with with a team online, and I
Hmm.
prepared everything up front. It was in Microsoft Teams, right? So I got aware again. How in Teams you cannot only share the sound, but you need to share screen and sound. You can't disconnect it. So I picked a beautiful picture that I can share together with the sounds, and everything worked well in my trial session. And
Hmm.
then in the real session, well, I still had the picture open on my computer, but I couldn't choose it
Hmm.
from where you can pick which file you want to share on the screen. So it simply wasn't there.
Hmm.
So I think that's the special time about the new age of digitalization. In the beginning, there's always the possibility for a mistake and some surprising things upcoming. And the best thing to handle it is open up, relax, don't feel embarrassed when it doesn't work out perfectly, and actually let go. Right? This so we are right in the topic of today. Let go of feeling embarrassed or ashamed or whatever.
Yes, yes. I think all these things happen for a great reason, and how we respond or how are we reacting, and then how we let go. I think these are all wonderful. So there is nothing for what we need to feel bad about, but rather always to be happy about, because there is something wonderful behind everything.
Yes, yes, very true. And maybe that is already part of our idea of today's topic in some ways. But let's see. Let's see how we go for today. First of all, I want to say hi to everybody who is already there. Good to see all of you coming. Um, so many people that I'm very aware of, meanwhile, and familiar with in some ways. So I'm really glad to have you all here. And our topic today concerning getting conscious around or getting awareness around how to do it consciously is letting go. And I find it a huge topic because we talk about letting go so many times. And so many people say, simply let it go. And I have this experience when you use the word simply let it go, simply stop it, simply change your diet, simply move more. It's actually anything but simple what we're talking about. So this is why I would love to share and exchange with you the common wisdom of this group about how to let go. And my question is, who of you consciously in her or his life decided to let something go? And how did you do it? What did you do to consciously let something go?
Hi, Sumati here. How are you?
Hi. Good. What about you, Sumathi?
All right. I'm in a car park, but if I get disturbed or disconnected, I'm sorry. But I'll quickly give you my input.
Yes,
I
please.
I did a lot of self-talk.
Hmm.
I actually treated when I'm doing the self-talk,
Hmm.
the superior person will be the one who's talking to Sumati, who's undergone all that emotional turbulences,
Hmm.
attachment.
Hmm.
And telling that this is what it is and this is how it is,
Hmm.
and it's part of your karmic cycle, and you just have to be the humbler person or the greater person
Right.
to go. And it works. Maybe
Okay.
initially, a long time ago, it may not have worked, but then as you keep self-talking and you keep counseling yourself,
Mm.
self-counseling, it works. Honestly, it works. And yeah, and then you soon realize that you just get detached to it, and there are no emotions involved. It's only events that's taken place with no emotions. So that's how the detachment goes, and then you're able to set things right.
So you would say, in a way, if I get it right, please let me know if that's how one can say, you in the most positive way can talk yourself out of being attached to something with a lot of positivity, respect in the way you talk to yourself, and patience. Did I get that right?
Yes, Jana, because it's worked, and it just makes you feel there are two people. One is the Timothy, who is strong and who's able to see things pragmatically, and then the other person is the person who's been captivated emotionally. So
Beautiful.
yeah, and it's
Thank you.
worked.
So it's a dialogue with yourself that helps you to let go. Great.
That dialogue is so important, because we become our own doctor, therapist, teacher, mom, counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist. It's so important. Really, it's important. Because at the end of the day, if you keep harping on it and talking to A, B, and C and D, I remember once, I think Patuji said that you don't get answers and solutions from everyone. Within you, and how you want to make it happen.
Right. So this is another important aspect. You say this dialogue with yourself, this for letting go, can't be replaced by a dialogue with like an external person, another person that is not you. It is the dialogue with yourself that helps you to let go, because that's where the answers from within come up.
Yes and no. Yes, if you totally do not want to depend on the extraneous influence or factors, and or if you want to take bits and pieces of the push, the other person say, oh, simply let go, or simply forget. And then you think, how could it be simple?
Yes, it's very true.
Why should it not be simple? It's easier for them to say, because they don't have any emotional attachment. You know what I'm trying to say? They only have the visual perception and the auditory of listening to your story. So why don't you try to do that? So that's where you detach, isn't it? Come out of that situation, event, and it works. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, when I deal with my patients too, I always say, you are the best doctor, you are the best therapist. We are there for a short while in that window period. You know the best medicine for self-treating. That's how it's always worked for me. It's hard sometimes, depending on the degree of the letting go situation is, but eventually it gets easier when you self-dialogue, talk, counsel, dash, dash, dash. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Sumati. I think there's a lot to get out of this, being in a good dialogue with ourselves, and not just in the head, but really having an external dialogue that you can listen to. That's a different one as well. Thank you.
And sorry to add one more thing. And if you drive, talk to yourself. The windows are wound up. Just talk to yourself, shout at yourself, and correct yourself. It works. Honestly. Do a lot
Beautiful.
in my car, really audibly.
That's
Simati, stop it. You have to dash, 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 blah, blah, blah. It's okay. So what? What's the big deal? Not the end of the world. Come on, go for it.
That's amazing. I think I need to buy a car, actually. I currently don't have one. So this is the best reason I ever heard for getting a car for myself. Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Sumati. So we have a lot of people who want to add something towards the topic as well. I first will read out what's on the chat, and then we have several people that raised their hands that I would love to hear also what they want to add on. So in the chat, we have someone saying, sometimes I get irritated, but then I realize immediately about my emotion, which helps me to handle it effectively. So that sounds as if conscious awareness about the emotions behind our attachment helps to let go, if I got that right. Another participant says it is very hard thing when it comes to loved ones, but try my best to let things go. Beautiful. And we will get more ideas on how to let go from different people of our group. And it's Archana that I would like to ask to share with us. And I hope I did it right this
Yeah.
time.
Oh, yes, absolutely, Anna. Thank you so much. So, yes, this topic, let go, is anything but simple, anything. And this, what I have realized recently is this letting go can be of relationship, of our thoughts, of our emotions, of several things, not just like any one particular thing. And I've, there was this something like, which was very close to me, I can say a relationship. And like, it was a very tough, I mean, I could never imagine in when my wildest of the wildest dreams that I would be letting go. But since it was not really working out, I had to. And yes, it did take a toll on me in more than, I just can't tell you how many ways I was like, I was prescribed with, you know, all the medications, and I was advised to go to physiotherapy, not sorry, what do you call psychoanalyst and therapist and whatnot. But then again, there was this issue, like, especially with the Indian community, it is like that, people just leave it on the people, even the family you look at you weirdly if you have to really approach a psychotherapist or a, psychoanalyst or a, psychiatrist for that matter. And then there's this insurance and all that whatnot. And but I had to, and like I knew this thing is not working out and I have to really come out of it. So I basically, meditation helped me a lot. And then, as Sumati ji was telling, self introspection, contemplation, and of course, self talk, self counseling. So many a times, and I'm not saying that always the answer is within ourselves. Of course, it is there, but also a lot of times, we get help from outside. But just in case, if you cannot get help from outside, from your family, from your friend, from therapist or psychoanalyst and all that, but then the only option left is you. And the resources out there, like maybe in the YouTube, maybe in the Google, or etc., etc. It's just that you have to keep reading those, keep listening to those, and then based on those whatever resources, you have to then start self counseling, self contemplating. And then of course, tools like meditation and listening to other experiences, those helped a lot. And it is never easy, it is the most toughest thing. And I have recently done a lot of let go, and then it should be in a way that it should not again come back. Letting go is like really let it go for good, forever. Be it the hardships which you have faced with your family or with your friend or with your loved one, or be it a relationship, or with your own attitude, or with what kind of attitude I had before, with what kind of a personality I had. Even letting go of those were also, uh, you know, I tried. And yes, and all these tools, as I said, to be frank, to be really frank, I really didn't have anyone to talk to, except once in a while I used to talk in this Beam group. I mean, I used to be a part of several other groups, but only place where I opened up was in this group. And but of course, I cannot open up completely. So as I said, like, in numerous videos on YouTube, in numerous channels, or and just hearing those, and then working out my own. And then, but as of now, as of today, I'm very happy that I let go of a couple of relationships, and my heart feelings for few relationships, and my own attitudes which were not helping me in my progress or in my well-being, like maybe expectations. So letting go of all those things, basic, I mean, a lot of things actually, I should say. So at this moment, and even now, once in a while, if I have something, some kind of thoughts coming up, to let go of that thought is also a challenge. But then yes, again, sometimes I just rely on some channels or on my own self-talk, self-counseling. But I'm very happy as of now because a lot of I've succeeded in letting go of a lot of things, which was really not helping.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's
Archana.
it.
So
Thank you.
when I got it right, what I found in you saying was also a lot about self-talk and talking out loud in being your friend, your own friend. And I heard you saying something which I found really interesting, which was about filling your heart with friends and family. If I got that right, that was what really kind of stick with me, that letting go is about filling the heart with different positive people, things. Did I get that right or did I misunderstand?
No, you actually, that's not the case. I said I never had family or friends wherein I could share.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, when you share, when they talk to you, when they talk you out of the situation, it's a big help.
Mm-hmm.
In the absence of that, the only thing remaining is you yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and resources such as books, resources such as, others' experiences,
Mm-hmm.
resources such as, some YouTube channel, some coach, someone, out there. So I have relied mainly on those. And yes, of course, prayers. That's the, I think, prayer, to the universe, to the God, or whomever you believe, the supreme being. That has helped and will always help in letting go of several things. And then it includes everything, even, your attitude or nature or, anything, relationship or hardship. Yes.
Great. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you so much. And thank you for
Thank you.
sharing. That's so beautiful how
Thank you.
authentic and genuine this group shares. And I really think that makes a huge difference to everyone else in this group to get aware of everyone around us is human and we all have
Yeah.
things where we have challenges that we overcome, but we don't overcome like Spider-Man, right? We don't jump over them and that's it. We're human. We climb. Sometimes we
Time fall
crawl.
down.
We fall. We get up again, and that's such a beautiful sharing. Very
Yeah.
inspiring. Thank you.
We get there, beat a sloth or beat like a tortoise or like a snail, but we get at the end.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank
Thank
you.
you. My
Yeah. Swaru, you wanted to share with us as well, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jana. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that I could able to join today. And yeah, when I saw let go topic, I just got a reminder from Madhu ma'am and let me join. And then the topic was let go. Oh my gosh, I really needed. I was suffering with let go just then, and I saw that message, and I thought, universe is sending me message. I thought it's like my higher self sent me this let go. Really, I feel that. Yeah, so usually when let go comes, like I do self talk,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and if it is hard, then I usually sit in the meditation and do self love, do a lot of self love, because we might have thought that's good for them, and you might have said something, and again you retrospect, you don't receive the acknowledgement from others, and you feel, you go through all these scenes. Oh, why did I say, they didn't say that, this, then that's hard to let go. So then I sit in the meditation and said, like, so you did whatever you did, you felt that's the right way to do it. Doesn't matter others receive or not. So I do self love, and I also do love them. They bring in the meditation, and I love them, like, I did this one, and just don't misunderstand me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I learn from it. because if we let go and if you don't learn, it keep repeating, right? So then I sit and, okay, it was hard for me to let go and I'm working on let go, but what is the message that I should avoid next time? Right? So it could be like, yeah, just today morning, the incident happened just before joining this message. I talked to my dad, and then, he was a dialysis patient, and then they were attending some funeral, and then my dad was talking to telling everyone, means sending the message that this is happening. And then I told my dad that we maintain silence, because my dad is like so active like me, so talkative. I used to be talkative, so I told my dad that just maintain silence. Okay, if there are any work, just delegate to someone, I told him. But I did not receive the positive. My dad does, of course, right? They don't take that as positive, that it's for their well-being. So then I put down phone. Then I said, oh my God, why did I say that? I cannot tell anyone. Means, suggestions, we should stop giving suggestions unless they ask you or approach you. So that one thing I'm trying to cultivate. Otherwise, you don't know whether it's required or not, and you keep on talking, and because you have got into meditation and you are learning all these things, and you want to give it to everyone, but everyone are in different situations, so they may take it differently. So that I am a little bit cautious about that. I know it's easy to get into that mode, because you feel so happy. Oh my gosh, I transformed. Now I want to transform the world, but that doesn't happen.
So you need to let go of wanting to transform the world in a way at that point, right?
Exactly. You have to let go, and just and also you have to accept it, right? Completely accept yourself and accept the world, how they are. So maybe by saying this, I might have disappointed my dad, and he might have think, what, she's my daughter and I'm like talking on some purpose, and she's telling. I know, if I wish, if a meditator, then they understand, and they don't do, first of all, and you don't tell them. But since I just felt at that, so what I did, like, yeah, it's let go, because at that time you felt that way. I don't blame myself. You just said that because you're caring, and sometimes they may take it positive because they have seen you're a meditator, and they may take it as very seriously, right? So you don't know. It's yes and no answers.
Yeah.
But
so
always,
would you say, because you give so many beautiful examples there, and would you say that your most powerful act of self-love in letting go is forgiving yourself? Would you
exactly yeah, self-love, let go, accept, and learn from it. So when you inculcate all these three things, you will not repeat that. And also same thing, when you are saying to someone, that means you have within you. So learn that. Maybe you are going through the same things, and maybe I told maintain silence to my dad, so maybe I have to maintain too. So from that you just learn. So the more you let go, the more you accept, the more you learn, then that's how you evolve yourself. So
Great.
yeah, I know it's hard. It's easy to say let go. Word very simple, very easy. Everyone say, but it's really, really hard to implement. You go through all emotions,
Yeah,
So,
simple
yeah,
but not easy in the
thank you.
end, right? It's
Exactly,
simple but not easy.
the word itself is so simple. Just let go. So, but yeah, it's hard. Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Beautiful topic.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
thank you for
everyone
your
for
contribution
listening.
to the topic. So it's also about self-talk and about self-love, and the most important aspect for Swaru in that self-love is forgiveness for yourself and acceptance. So the first steps there. Beautiful, thank you. Ram, you raised your hand as well before I bring in what the chat is bringing up, and the next people who raise their hand will be talking to us as well. But now it's Ram.
Thank you, Jana. And I fail in letting go in one case.
Mm.
Every silly discussion me and Madhu have, we cannot let go. We drag, and we will not let it go. This thing, I think we cannot do that consciously.
What do you think is it that you're dragging on in that special
Fun.
thing? Which is not something to let go of too easily anyway, right? Is it? Fun is a good thing to be attached to in a way.
Okay. So regarding this conscious let go, I would say there were phases, and if I need to look at in the now, or let's say in the near now, how I deal with it is there are, I just find out what is that emotion that is coming up that I want to let go. Yeah. Because in the end, we want to let go those emotions that are not helping us to live a joyful moment. And I did realize that that does not define me completely, that particular emotion. So I keep repeating myself that I'm not that emotion.
Right.
I'm not that. I'm not that emotion. So as I keep repeating that I'm not that emotion, imagine it is fear, for example. I'm not fear. That I know. But due to some situations or events, imagine there is this fear. So whenever it comes, I consciously say, I'm not defined by this emotion which I'm experiencing now. And all is well. This is the secret mantra I have. Okay. So whatever emotion it is, which is not aligned with the joy, or which is not aligned with my true nature of myself, I strongly negate it by connecting to the reality that I am not that emotion.
Great.
So repeating, and repeating, I see it fades off, and I connect back to that reality, which is of my true self, that all is well and everything is fine.
Great. So in a way, if I get it right, it's when you get aware of attachment and not being able to let go, you stop, you spot the emotion, so you find out which emotion it is, and you swap from this underlying feeling of I am this emotion, which kind of attaches you to something, to the awareness of I am not this emotion. It's a part that is there for now within me, but I'm way more than this emotion. And then you repetitively let yourself know whenever it comes up again, you let yourself know, I am not this emotion. I'm not, let's say, I'm not my fear. And from there, let go.
Yes. And then this aspect of all is well, to understand that whatever event had happened, I'm not neglecting that, but I know there is some greater reason behind it. That is why all is well. So, so this is how I consciously do. And the other aspect of the journey that we are all going through, which is life, is that, very rarely I find myself in situations that call a situation of to let go. Because with time, I realize that I don't even take things at first place to find myself in a situation where I need to let go. So the need to let go only comes because you took something not to the right perspective, or you took it in a different perspective. So that is why you need to let it go now.
Different from what? You took it in a different perspective from what?
Whichever you feel now that you want to let go. Yeah. So imagine the fear. So I'm connecting to the fear, but if I do not even look at that situation and I'm no more connecting to that fear, there is not even necessary to think about letting go because I'm no more connected to the fear at first place. So I realized that with this journey of meditation, with this journey of hearing to everyone's experience, listening to everyone's experience, everyone's journey, reading books, basically many times I realized had it been 10 years ago, I might have connected to some emotion that I should have let go, but now I no more connect to that emotion anymore because somehow, for various reasons, sometimes I don't take it personally. Sometimes I know all is well. Sometimes I know it is happening because for a greater good. Sometimes so for various reasons, I no more bring that to say I have to let it go. So it has a two dimensions, but when there is a need to let go, I use that technique, which I said earlier.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And I just saw your T-shirt. The spell is perfectly fitting as well when you say that's not my business. I'm not having that approach anymore, right? So this is part of letting go.
Yes.
I had to smile when I saw it while you explained about that perspective. Thank you so much, Ram. Then I will read out what we have in the chat before I go to the next ones raising the hand. So what do we have here? I have consciously let go of so many negative emotions in so many situations to stay on the soul path as my inner showed my way. Maybe so hard to overcome, and I'm successful every time. So Mamata says, whenever she gets aware of her soul path, it shows her the way from inside, what to overcome and how to overcome, even if it's hard. Thank you, Mamata. Another insight is according to our mood, person, how frequently it happens by that person, even after communication, it very neatly, all these factors are also important for letting go consciously. But as I'm constantly working on that, it works. But when it doesn't work, I feel very helpless. So there is a lot inside on which I need to work. Thank you for sharing. And again, thank you for sharing that there are still moments, situations, phases where we struggle and where it is not always easy, though we at other times did it successfully. I really love the sharing in this group of this awareness that things are not always working out perfectly, that we are humans, not superhumans, right? And what Ram also said, that it's okay to be aware of all is well, even in times when we are not easily letting go of something, or when something is not just easily working out for us. So I really, really love this sharing in this group, that we are all on a human journey here. And I love the reminder of Ram that the underlying knowledge of all is well, even in those times where things are not easy, is really a great reminder. I'm really, really deeply touched by the fact that we're all here to share our stories with our successes and also the moments where it doesn't work out completely well. Thank you so much. We have someone writing, losing a loved one is a very traumatic event. And yes, that's definitely the case. It's very difficult to let go. And the only way to accept the event and let the pain go is meditation. That is what one of us says here, and is also asking for the group sharing the thoughts, sharing your thoughts on this. So I will read out that again. But first, I want to ask Bharathi to share with us, because the hand is raised for so long already. Please, Bharathi.
Oh, hi. That doesn't matter. I just wanted to share my practices. I took means it's a kind of knowledge that is called as Gyan, Akram Gyan from Dada Bhagwan. So whatever I state here is directly comes from him. And according to those practices, As most of us are aware of this Nirvanashtakam from Adi Shankaracharya, that we are beyond, like we are not this Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manamaya Kosha, Vakhyanamaya Kosha. Means that physical.
Many words that I have never heard of. Just like I can't connect with the
5 sheets. We are beyond these 5 sheets, they say, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
This
Thank you.
physical, intellect, and emotional.
Okay.
Those. Yeah, those we are, and there's a bliss body also, and the soul stays. They say we are beyond that. Beyond everything. So we are like mostly ego identification works most of the time because we are brought up in that way from childhood, that I am Bharti, I am Bharti. So most of the time I'm identified as Bharti, that is ego consciousness. But now we are trying to practice this soul consciousness, and soul has different characteristics. The rules for the soul are different, and the rules for the ego consciousness is generally, we know whatever suffering is happening is due to ignorance. Every experience is just experience. There is no there is nobody if we reflect on ourselves, sometimes I made mistake, a very grave mistake. If I go and reflect at that point of time and my state of mind, if I see, I never want to cause any hurt for that person. But it happened through me. If we reflect on those incidents wherein I made a mistake, the self makes a mistake, then we'll be able to introspect on it properly. That I don't have any intention of hurting anybody. So when I understand that, then I can see that other person who is right now in front of me and is hurting me, I can see that when I don't have any intention of hurting any others at that point of time, now I can apply it now to this person standing in front of me, that even this person also has no intention of hurting me. So there is no person on this land or earth or whatever situation, people never hurt others intentionally. People don't do wrong intentionally. At that moment, according to their perspective, that's the best way they know to act. So that brings us to the faultless vision. Means we don't see any fault in whatever happens. That is faultless vision. And the other one is equanimity. Standing in the, means the soul always stays in the equanimous state, right? So it doesn't discriminate between good, bad. Everything is just an experience for the soul. So that one is there. And the third point is non-discrimination. Means according to the ego identification, there is discrimination. But when we move on to the soul, then according to the soul, there is no discrimination between you and me. If I separate myself into two parts, like the pure soul and the egoic self, and I separate you as pure self and the egoic self, the pure self has no difference between those two. I can't say which is Bharti and which is you. So there is discrimination lying only from the egoic point of view. So these three practices, applying at all situations, I come to know that when I am a soul, I am enough. I am independent of situations, people, and things. So I don't know, I squeezed in so many things.
Yeah, and I mean, there is so much in everything you indeed shared with us in that short time. Actually, it's really it's really a lot in there, a lot of steps that you can follow through, and a lot of different angles to take into account, which is really amazing.
Yeah, one more thing I missed is whatever happens is justice according to the universal law. Because universe is here, and we also, means before taking birth we have some plans, and I request I take on to request certain situations. I design my situations for my own upliftment and growth. So always, means when we come into the path of liberation or in the path of soul consciousness, we see that whatever happens is justice, the first principle. And then we try to dissect it or break it into parts, and then we arrive at how it is justice. Whatever is happening is justice.
Okay. So if we go to the example of that we had in the chat, where we were asked to share our thoughts around, let's say you lose a loved one, which is definitely very traumatic. do you have any experiences with that? Did that happen to you, and how could you let go of it? Or if you don't have an experience, how would you approach it with all the wisdom and the knowledge that you just shared with us?
No, definitely. I lost my parents at a very early age. But the thing is, I was very happy for my father. He breathed his last in front of my eyes. But there was so much of kind of contentment or satisfaction within me. Like it was a right time, because he was having little bit ego clashes with his son, like that. So means the thing is, death we see as we buy a good vehicle. Once our vehicle is old, we don't want to, we are so excited to buy a new vehicle. We are so excited to buy a new house. So this body, when we see properly, we see this body as the vehicle that the true self has chosen to experience this earth. So definitely there's a deep and deeper meaning to death, which we are ignorant of, that we are suffering. Definitely the attachment is there. And sometimes if I losing my father, he is responsible, right? He is responsible for my things. So those things I may be missing. There's financial dependency and emotional dependency, if it is the husband, and even kids, if it is emotional dependency or emotional attachment. We are attached to the form, but when we are conscious of the formlessness, and when we experience that formlessness of the whole beingness, then it, with a little bit amount of practice and self-counseling and staying in the soul consciousness state, it will help. Means suddenly I don't say like as soon as we discuss this that the traumatic experience can be overcome. But I read James Van Prague is an amazing author. I suggest to overcome traumatic experiences like death, because in the James Van Prague book, he's a psychic medium wherein souls come and talk to him directly. And the souls have revealed to him that they have told that this is our choice, to die early or whatever it is. This, we chose our death like this, because by now we are aware that we come with we come with a proper decided exit point for our this physical form. So I suggest James Van Prague books, all these 7 books. Now I am having his 8th book, just right, like Healing Grief. And I suggest that James Van Prague author, to overcome traumatic experiences. In that lot of live experiences he has given, how the plan of the soul is there, and how people are come and go, and how everything the soul designs itself for experiences only. Even if the soul comes to experience addictions also, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, to move on. And there is one more thing, Dr. Newton Kondawati's 7 level of soul evolutions, that also is useful in understanding this concept better.
Thank you very much for sharing, Bharathi. I think there is a lot to take in and to let sink in, actually, about what you said. So probably the one or the other might even be interested in reaching out in the group, in the Beam WhatsApp group afterwards, because this is a lot of deep insight and deep awareness from your wisdom as well. And of course, from all the wisdom, the life wisdom that all of you shared here today on this beautiful topic. So thank you very, very much. And I had a very personal interest in bringing up that topic as well, because I wanted to gain new ideas and insights on how to let go myself as well, because I kind of have the impression that there is always so much more to learn about this topic, and it all in the end goes in the same direction, what we talked about here, in terms of being your own friend, bringing the things out of your head, in some ways also in the self-dialogue, be gentle with yourself, have self-love and acceptance, and step into a different perspective and perception from from that angle where our attachment comes from, which also means from that angle getting aware of the emotion behind the attachment. This is as far as I get it from everything that you shared here today, as good as it gets in a nutshell, but there's way more in it for a nutshell. But we're happy and we're lucky that it's recorded, so you can go back to the session and go over it again. And yes, Ram already asked for sharing the author and name of the book, or the book title and the name of the author, which is probably very, very interesting for many people who tuned in today in this chat and also in the Beam group. Thanks to every one of you who shared. Is there anything that you still would like to add? If it's on the chat, if it's by saying some more words about it, please feel free to share with us. If not, then I would hand it over here today to Madhu and Ramesh, because as our discussions are getting longer and longer, which I really love. So again, thank you for sharing. I need to be in the mindset maintenance community at 7 p.m. tonight, and 10 minutes meditation would just be a pity, because it's such a good state to be in meditation. And lucky me, Ram and Madhu take over with the meditation session for you. Actually, it's also a bit of bad luck for me because I can't join in, but you know, it is what it is. You can't have it all at the same time, I would say. So thanks to every one of you. I am so happy that you tuned in, and I'm really looking forward to see all of you next week, where we can go on sharing, exchanging, and becoming more and more conscious. Thanks to all of you.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
Jana.
Thanks a lot, Jana. I think today we will meditate on this concept of letting go.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I will come back to this, to the recording for that meditation afterwards as well, because I really want to meditate on that as well. Thanks to everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jana. Okay, masters, let us now dive into meditation. Kindly take a very comfortable posture. Take off your glasses, take off your wristwatches if they are tight, anything that is tight on